hey, we're going to be open an extra hour to make money, extra hour to, take care of our guests.
New COVID curfew rules. Governor DeWine announces Ohio's curfew will be shortened by an hour. We talked to local restaurant owners about why this small change is actually big for business. Plus, COVID burnout. Nearly 11 months in, the pandemic is taking a toll on all of us. What fellow Ohioans are doing to stay motivated until we all get that vaccine.
And today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. While the world pauses to honor and reflect, we talked to one man right here in Northeast Ohio about his story of survival and triumph.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
It most certainly is, and I say to you, happy hump day. Northeast Ohio, it is great, as always, to be with you again. Thanks so much for choosing What's New. Along with Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy, a very good Wednesday afternoon to you.
A very good Wednesday afternoon to you, too. You know, I was talking to Matt Wentz and Matt Standers not too long ago, and we are looking forward to the end of the weekend when we are talking about some snow coming to Northeast Ohio. It's going to be very interesting to catch up with the latest that Matt has in his forecast.
Okay.
It's going to be, it got the eyebrows raised. That's a good sign for sure. But we begin today with a look at the state of COVID-19 here in the state of Ohio. Within the last 24 hours, 5,366 cases were reported. That is an 1,100 number jump from yesterday, but still about 1,100 below the 21-day average.
Yeah, here's our other daily numbers, Betsy. Ohio's positivity rate up slightly from yesterday to 10.8%. Deaths are down day to day. But the big news is our hospitalizations are down again. This is the second straight day that we are below 3,000 patients statewide. But more importantly, this is the seventh straight day we are below 3,500 statewide patients. And per the governor's comments yesterday, that triggers a rollback of 1 hour in our state's curfew from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's the good news. Even though it's 7 days, though, today, the governor has said this doesn't go into effect until tomorrow, sadly. But tomorrow we will celebrate that. This is a live look now at East 4th Street. You know the drill. Normally it is a hot spot for bars and restaurants, but these restaurants have been forced to close at 10 o'clock since November. Their business over the last year is down markedly. As I said at the beginning here, tomorrow that curfew will be pushed from 10 to 11 o'clock. Our Romney Smith has been looking into this all day. She joins us now with exactly what that change means for area restaurant owners. Romney, I have to imagine this is the best news they've heard in a very long time.
They were all very happy when I spoke with them, Jay. This 1 hour curfew extension might seem small because it's just an hour, but it's actually pretty big for the restaurant industry. So again, per the governor, starting on Thursday night, tomorrow, restaurants and bars will be able to stay open until 11 p.m. instead of closing at 10 p.m. Chocolate bar manager Sean Freeman, which is downtown on Euclid, says it sounds like a small change, but it's another step in the right direction to get back to a thriving nightlife, especially in downtown Cleveland.
9 o'clock on Fridays and Saturday nights, we have people trying to get in, and I have to look at them and say, hey guys, we closed within the hour. And even that little extra hour will get us, a little bit more to get us, keep us going. It's great. We're very excited.
This is the next threshold. If COVID cases drop below 3,000 hospitalizations a day statewide for 7 straight days, restaurants and bars will be able to stay open until midnight, which is great news. Again, 1 more hour of business, of work for bars and restaurants, but it's also 1 more hour of fun and safe socializing and enjoying the company of our friends and family without a Zoom, which I think a lot of people are looking forward to, Jay.
Yeah, any meeting that doesn't include Zoom these days is a good one. By the way, Romney, for the thousands of folks just in our area that are affected by this, folks that work at restaurants or bars, that hour is a huge thing, particularly to the owners. But also, you mentioned the 3,000 threshold. We have now been below that mark for 2 days. So if we can do it for the next 5 days, by next weekend, that curfew becomes midnight, and that is a world of difference to all of those folks. Romney, thank you very much.
And if we go even lower, it'll go away completely. So a lot to look forward to, Jay.
Fingers crossed. Romney, thank you very much.
Well, even though those folks aren't hanging out long durations in our bars and our restaurants, they haven't exactly been withholding, because there have been a huge number in the surge of alcohol sales in Ohio. According to the Dayton Daily News, the state liquor agency sold 16.75 million gallons of the high-proof liquor in 2020. That's the hot stuff. That's almost a 10% increase from the year before. Alcohol sales totaled $1.6 billion last year. Jay, that is nearly a 19% jump from 2019. That is one part of our economy that is not struggling.
No, and so that would be the upside. But Betsy, I'm not sure how anyone can argue that societally that's necessarily a good thing. Remember, the unintended consequences of these long-term shut-ins, we won't fully feel, some experts say, for several years. Preliminary data shows depression rates, suicide rates, alcohol abuse, overdoses, all on the rise over the U.S. over the last year. In fact, Clark County, Nevada, this is interesting. They have seen 18 school-age kids commit suicide over the last 9 months. That is an increase of 100% year over year. It's gotten so bad there that it has forced the school superintendent to reopen schools. When you talk to these kids, they are feeling depression. They are feeling disconnected from society. And you got to wonder, I don't even know how we'll measure the effects of that long term, Betsy, but the unintended consequences are there, and they're frightening.
It is. And, you know, it's a time when we're kind of isolated, right? We aren't able to get out with the people we normally get to hang out with. And some folks are holding all that in. And when you hold it in, it really starts to fester, and that can be a huge problem. And so if you're having any of those feelings, if you're having any of those thoughts, reach out for help. There are people who are there to help you. There's suicide hotlines. Call a friend. Just check in with somebody. Do something nice for somebody else. It's the little things that can really make a big difference.
Yeah. And don't
now on your
emotions.
feet at 5, what is new? Yes, exactly, Jay. Well, what is new with the COVID vaccines? That's kind of the hope that we're all holding out for, isn't it? For all those answers, we, of course, bring in our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins. And Monica, in this very instant gratification world that we live in, there's a lot of folks who are saying, well, why can't they just make these vaccines faster?
Yeah, absolutely. Why can't they? Well, even though President Biden said he plans to invoke the Defense Production Act to provide more vaccines, it's still not going to provide the much needed doses overnight. And here's why. So remember, these are drugs, and every step must be cleared by the FDA. So expanding and establishing production lines in repurposed facilities can take months, if not a year or more, because of what's involved to make that happen. These companies say they're running at capacity, but remember, they're also providing vaccine for several other countries in addition to ours. And in some cases, they claim they're dealing with raw material shortages, but they haven't given us the details on that. And the president can't just order a private company to share its patented or trade secret technology to another company. That is a legal hurdle at the very, very least. So whatever steps they eventually take, safety, purity, and security have to be paramount, considering we plan on giving these drugs to at least half of Americans, Bets.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, you're literally putting this inside your body, so it's got to be good or else it just can't happen. Well, can people who are undergoing cancer treatment get the vaccine? There's been a lot of questions on this.
Yeah, that's a big one. And not right now, because cancer is not included on Ohio's underlying conditions list. Also, there's very scant research available because that group of people was not included in those clinical trials. This is something patients must discuss with their oncologist. So, according to the American Cancer Society, they say many expert medical groups are recommending that most people with cancer or a history of cancer get the vaccine. But some treatments like chemotherapy, radiation, or immunotherapy can affect the immune system, which might make the vaccine less effective. Again, overall, talk to your doctor if you have concerns. And for those of you who do not have internet access, we're taking care of you. We want to give you these phone numbers again. UH patients, you can call 216-844-3339. Cleveland Clinic patients can call 216-444-2538. If you do not use either of those systems, you can call the United Way's 211 help link, or you can call the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging phone number at 844-304-0004 for help with registration and appointment transportation information. And one last thing I want to remind everybody about, please do not give out any personal information like your Medicare number, your Social Security number, your bank information over the phone if anybody calls you regarding your vaccine appointment. These vaccines are free. You will not be asked to pay for them. You may be asked for your insurance card when you get to the pharmacy, but no one is going to call you and ask for payment over the phone, nor can you buy an appointment. We can't say this enough, Bets. This is just ridiculous that there are scammers out there trying to take advantage of our seniors and those people with underlying conditions.
Makes you get a little testy, doesn't it? For sure. All right, Monica, wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Thank you for the update. Jay?
You got it.
Well, Betsy, a big story from the sports world. Yesterday, for the second time in the last 8 years, there will be no players inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame later this fall. Here's the way it works. Players have to be retired for 5 years, then they go on the ballot, and once on the ballot, they have 10 years to get 75% of the vote in order to be enshrined. Former pitcher Curt Schilling came the closest, 71% of the vote. Then Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens were both at 61%. I mentioned players have to wait 5 years post-retirement to even be on the ballot. Then they get that 10 years where baseball writers vote. And in one of the most bizarre traditions in all of sports, somehow a player who retires 14 years ago isn't Hall of Fame worthy this year, but oftentimes in that last year of eligibility, they decide to vote that player in. Well, Curt Schilling has taken the dramatic step of telling the baseball writers, take my name off the ballot next year. He does not want them to vote him into the Hall of Fame. After that 10 years, what happens is for 5 years, you are voted on by what's called the Eras Committee or the Veterans Committee. So Curt wrote a letter saying, quote, I'll defer to the Veterans Committee and men whose opinions actually matter and who are in a position to actually judge a player. Betsy, I have to say, I agree with Curt wholeheartedly. The writers have this weird habit of making guys suffer and wait until that final year. And somehow they weren't a Hall of Famer last year, and they haven't played in 14 years, but next year they're a Hall of Famer. It's a ridiculous process. I think it needs to be overhauled, and good for Curt Schilling for taking it out of their hands. I think the veterans will vote him in 2 years from now.
Oh, my goodness. It's a lot more drama than I thought it was. I mean, I knew
really
it was
is.
dramatic, but there's
Highly
like straight
political.
up drama going on there. Certainly. Woo. Well, still ahead for us here on What's New, a new face to a big beauty brand who Black Opal is tapping for the part. But first, taking time to reflect on this International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Hear from a local Holocaust survivor and how he remains resilient 75 years later. We'll be right back. Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. It's a day to honor and reflect on the millions of victims of the Holocaust. And as Will Ewick reports, it's also a time to celebrate their resilience.
Many of us carried bread in our pockets, because, we were used to being hungry.
Ira Siegelwitz lived through many hardships in his childhood. Born in Poland in 1936, he and his family left their home and fled into Russia to escape the Nazis. Now in his mid-80s, living in Dayton, Ohio, he remembers all the pain and suffering he, his family, and friends endured.
We didn't have shoes, we didn't have, clothes that kept us warm.
But he also remembers the few glimpses of joy, the friends he met in a displacement camp, including his first love.
I thought she was extremely pretty.
Ruth Brandspiegel gave Ira her handkerchief when he was in his early teens at a displaced persons camp in Austria. Now, 70 years and a lifetime later, he still remembers her.
I'd go into a movie and it'd be dark, and I knew exactly where she was,
So when he read a story about two survivors reconnecting, he couldn't believe it. It was her.
And I saw her pictures, so that's when I really got excited, I was jumping around, I was happy, and I was, tears all over my face.
Ira reconnected with Ruth. The two of them, joined by their children and grandchildren, shared memories of what they withstood, where they'd been since, and of course, the handkerchief that Ira has kept all these years.
It's one of the 3 things that I brought back.
Ruth and Ira continue to speak every week. A young crush that's blossomed into a long-distance friendship, connected by a past they both persevered through.
I think about her once in a while, and never expected it anymore.
Will Ewick.
So it's been a very exciting time for me very much.
3 News.
Isn't that a beautiful story? Well, Ira says that coincidentally, he sent Ruth a postcard when he left Austria. And that's a postcard that she has also held on to. She still has it today. I love that story. It's so sweet. It's like a Nicholas Sparks novel beginning or something. It's so great.
It is. It's an incredibly amazing story. And how about her keeping that postcard all these years later? It's remarkable. It really is.
And the little handkerchief.
I know.
Oh, can you imagine her when she was like, you still have that handkerchief?
You write the screenplay, I'll go see the movie. How's that?
Got it.
All right. Well, let's bring in Matt Wintz now to take a look at the impending storm that Betsy teased me about at the beginning of the show. Matt, you know the deal. We try to fold in a word every day that you work into your forecast. And whether it's on the horizon or not, you're going to have to say the word sunshine today because, man, I just need to hear it.
That is very perfectly placed, Jay. Absolutely. We'll try to get to the forecast. These aren't all gloomy days ahead. We've mentioned the positives over the last couple weeks. We're gaining about 2 minutes of daylight per day. Our average high is on its way up. We're coming out of this, and I don't know if it's quarantine or what, but I feel like this has been a much shorter winter so far. I mean, because we're already on the tail end. Maybe it's work from home. I don't know if those work from home parents can agree with me. But the big picture across the country, we'll fit that word in, but not tonight or not tomorrow either. You can see we've got a system down towards our south. This is going to bring accumulating snow areas of Kentucky all the way over to the Carolinas. Going to get some rare snow for them. All of this will stay south of us. We may get clipped by some light snow in our southern counties, but what this is going to do as it moves by is really pull in some more northerly air and colder air, and that is kicking off some light lake effect. No robust lake effect bands expected out of this, but we are going to start to stir up the lake a little bit, so we do have some flurries falling now across a good portion of Cuyahoga County, stretching into northern Summit County. This will likely expand, and we may get some banding once we get that connection with Lake Huron as we go throughout the overnight hours. So do expect snow showers as you're up in the snow belt. Temperatures have dropped 20s north. We've got 30s down towards the south. That north wind is going to prevent these temperatures from going anywhere. You can see some of the cold air we're tapping into up in areas of Ontario. We're in the single digits. We're not going to get out of the low 20s the next 2 days. In fact, we're in the stretch of about 100 hours that will be below freezing all the way through Sunday morning. National Designmart Hour by our forecast. Here comes the model. Remember the model yesterday wasn't picking up on any snow. We were saying, yeah, cold air across the lake this time of year. I think we're going to get some. Model starting to pick up on it. It's nothing really crazy out of the lake, but again, we'll have to watch for some snow showers throughout the daytime tomorrow. Look at everyone else. We get some sun peaks as you get away from the lake. It will be cold though. Temperatures as as you get into the inland areas, we'll struggle to reach the low 20s despite that sunshine that they'll be seeing out away from the snow belt. Yes! Snowfall amounts, they will be light, but could end up with maybe a couple inches out in the snow belt. We'll see how things go over the next couple days. The big system this weekend, though, Betsy alluded to it. Here's the latest model run. Area low pressure coming out of the plains. This is Saturday night and Sunday. Depending on the track, do we get some mix out of this? Do we stay all snow? Most of the models agreeing we're all snow right now. We'll continue to fine-tune that track, but we could see some decent accumulations around here. This all starts again Saturday night, Sunday. Looks to linger maybe through Monday and Tuesday at this point. We'll talk more about that in the next half hour. But in terms of the 7-day forecast, real quick here, you can see cold days. The next 2 days with your Union Home Mortgage forecast, there's the slight warm-up into the 30s and then leading into your Groundhog Day. I don't think that little rodent's going to see its shadow over in Punxsutawney, so we're going to have an early spring around here as it looks right now.
All right, I'm holding you to that, and your weather word made me smile. Thank you, Matt. We'll see you at 5:30.
Oh.
Still ahead on What's New, one of HGTV's most beloved couples, you know them, Chip and Joanna Gaines, have something big up their sleeves for home improvement lovers. We've got all the details. That's ahead in our pop break. Plus, making moves on the ice. It's basically breakdancing with skates. We'll have more on that. It's our Worth the Watch, and it's coming up. And as we head to break, we're continuing our Save Our Sauce campaign. This evening, we're featuring El Caranzaro Mexican Restaurant on Detroit Avenue in Lakewood. It's a sister restaurant to the wonderful Momocho in Ohio City. Though they're only doing takeout right now, just this week, they're debuting this cool thing. It's a $10 frozen TV dinner that you can just heat and eat, and it feeds the whole family. Not a bad deal for $10. Check them out, and while you're at it, our Doug Tratner has a list of other great Lakewood spots right now on WKYC.com. We're right back. That music means your entertainment IQ is about to go up. In today's Pop Break, Chip and Jo are back. A first look at who's playing Princess Di in an upcoming film, and a new face for a popular beauty brand. Here's Kiera Cotton with all the details.
Black Opal Beauty has tapped actress and singer Ryan Destiny as its first celebrity ambassador. You might recognize the 26-year-old from her roles in Star and Grownish, but now you'll see her face in campaigns for the popular drugstore brand. In an interview with Allure, she described the partnership saying, "It just felt right when they came to me. I love that it's Black-owned and female-owned. This is a really cool thing to be a part of, and I'm just really honored."
We're all going to be okay.
I think we're going to be all right.
And they're back. Chip and Joanna Gaines are returning to TV with a reboot of their show Fixer Upper. When the couple announced that the show would be coming to an end in 2018, fans of the popular home renovation show were shocked. But they promised they'd be back. And in 2021, they're making good on that promise. Fixer Upper, Welcome Home, will premiere this Friday on Discovery Plus. Kristen Stewart is Princess Diana. We officially have a first look at the 30-year-old actress as the late Princess of Wales for the upcoming film Spencer. Stewart is pictured in a red coat with blonde hair and a black hat with delicate netting over her face. The resemblance is breathtaking. Set in December 1991, Spencer, which was Diana's maiden name, tells the story of a weekend vacation with the royal family where Diana must maintain composure despite the impending end of her marriage to Prince Charles. The movie is hoping to premiere later this year. Next year marks the 25th anniversary of Princess Diana's death following a car crash in Paris. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that, Kara. Well, this ice skater's moves are definitely worth the watch for us. He hits the ice running and then he quickly, look at this. Look at this. Yeah, that'd be a backflip on ice skates and then right into that beautiful spin, right? Well, alleged Balda is a professional ice skater, obviously, and he's currently based in Canada. Jay, I'm going to tell you something. You said it was like breakdancing on ice. The only thing that happens on ice with me is breaking, not so much dancing. Typically, it's bones or my head or something. Oh my gosh, I props to him. Can you ice skate? I don't even know if I know that.
I grew up playing hockey. I grew up on skates. But when I see someone do that, that's just insane to me. Kudos to him.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Well, I can go forward and turn, but yeah, it gets a little sticky after that. So we got to get him out.
You know
again.
your limits. That's a good thing.
That's true. That's true. It's a good point. I need the little walker thing that the kids use as they go around. All right, just ahead for us here at 5:30. The stocks today took a little bit of a stumble. We're going to tell you just how much of a dip and, more importantly, why. Plus, COVID burnout, the best ways to tackle and manage self-care, and we are taking your advice. And then we've all heard of smart home technology, but coming up, we're talking even smarter gadgets to make your living easier. It's all ahead when What's New returns.
Hey, Al, we are talking about COVID-19 burnout today and how people are getting over it. Yeah. Good stuff. That's true. Yes, they are. That's part of it. We're all just staring at TVs.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome into the second half hour of What's New on this Hump Day Wednesday with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy, I know you saw what I did there with Matt's weather word. I had a feeling the forecast wasn't completely optimistic, but I wanted to hear the word sunshine, and he was able to squeeze it in. It made me smile.
Right? Sometimes little white lies are okay. This is one of those instances. It's just better to go ahead and say, yes, the sunshine, absolutely. And then just kind of afterward be like, okay, June is coming very soon. So
yes.
You just kind of have to tuck it in there.
It worked for me. I'm simple.
All right, well, we are going to... Yeah, well, it's okay. We'll get you up to speed for sure. Let's get everybody else up to speed now as we start this half hour with 3 things that you need to know. We are learning more about the woman whose body was found in a wooded area in Ashland County this morning. The coroner's office says the victim is Tina Goad. Police started searching yesterday when someone called to tell them that their relative admitted to killing a woman he had met in a bar in Ashland. The man was found in Cleveland, brought back to Ashland for questioning. No charges have been filed yet. Well, hopefully it's just a hiccup, but stocks fell about 600 points today to close at 30,300. The drop was due to bad earnings reports and bad news from the Federal Reserve Chairman, who says our economic recovery is getting weaker, not stronger. Chairman Jerome Powell also said our path to recovery will depend significantly on the course of the coronavirus and how quickly we can all get vaccinated, which, of course, is a big unknown. And the markets, they don't like unknowns. And some welcome news for restaurant and bar owners here in the state of Ohio. Starting tomorrow, the statewide curfew will push to 11 p.m. Yesterday, Governor DeWine announced this would happen if our hospitalizations stayed below 3,500 for 7 days. Looks like we did it. And this will remain in effect for 2 weeks. Now, if hospitalizations continue to decrease for 7 days, the curfew will extend to midnight. That's great news for some small businesses.
Absolutely is, Betsy. Today's top talker is a topic I think it's safe to say we all can agree on. We're talking about COVID burnout. It is a real thing, and I know many of you are feeling it. We've been told to limit our interactions with others, loved ones and families. We have to avoid travel, stay home. We've done it for nearly a year now. It's beginning to take its toll. The fun of staying home in our PJs all day, that wore off pretty quickly. We miss our normal lives. We want to return to them desperately, see our friends and our families. Quite frankly, this whole thing's been exhausting, and I know you're feeling it. So what's the best way to practice self-care right now? This is very important. You got to manage all this. So here's what the World Health Organization and the Mayo Clinic are suggesting. They recommend you take an hour wherever you can, sit down and read a book, play a game, especially if you have a kid. Log off social media. That can be very refreshing. Try to reconnect in a different way. Make a phone call, FaceTime with someone that you miss and you love. Try to exercise. 30 minutes a day will do wonders for your mental outlook. If you don't go to a gym or you don't have the cardio equipment, take a walk outside. Try to get at least 8 hours of sleep each night. That is the body rebooting. It is imperative. And start a journal. Do it the old-fashioned way, too. Take a pen and write your thoughts down on paper. Don't use a computer for this. Write them down. You might find it therapeutic. It's worth a try.
I can't help but chuckle, Jay. The journal thing is kind of funny because all I can think about is still at home, still gray and cloudy, still cold, right? I mean, everybody kind of gets in that rut. So when you are journaling, make sure you're looking for something that's a bright spot to journal about. Don't just make it the same thing every day. You've got to be able to change things up a little bit. Even if it's just the color of the pen that you're using, change that up because that could really help too.
It can be therapeutic to write down these thoughts. It really can.
Absolutely. And then you look back at it and go, oh, I was such a wuss. I made it. I'm strong. Here we go. And use that to inspire you and keep pushing forward. All right. So we were asking you what's new with how you're practicing self-care, right?
Yeah.
Let's bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney, for more on this. Stephanie, what are some folks responding with?
You know, Betsy, it really is such a personal thing what makes us feel good. Here's what's been working for our viewers. The physical activity thing is a big one. Now, some people are getting back to old habits like running, and our own Rachel Polanski is a big yogi. She is sticking with that through the pandemic. People are also coming up with substitutes for what they can't do. Now, some have started side hustles, but for William Netherly, he has swapped out date night with making homemade pizza every Wednesday. And also, by the way, having dedicated days to do things is very popular. And of course, we all have those movies that we can watch over and over again. Well, for Brian Sternick, that's Avengers Endgame. And Miriam Connor is finding joy in the sometimes dark humor on the TV show Schitt's Creek. She sent me this photo of a mug with the character Moira Rose being a little glib, as per usual. Of course, we want to know how you're coping with COVID burnout. You can send that to us in the WKYC app. Just scroll down, look for that orange bar, and make sure you include your name and where you're contacting us from. And Jay and Betsy, I have to say, I just became aware of that TV show, Schitt's Creek. It's amazing, and it's on Netflix in case anyone wants to watch it with me. It's hilarious.
And be careful, because 20-minute episodes, you will be binge watching. You're like, oh, it's only 20 more minutes. It's only 20 more minutes. Mm-hmm. And then like 3 hours later, you're like, what have I done? So be careful. It is addicting.
Are you still watching?
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that. I'm through it. I'm done through it. And now I'm watching all of the post interviews with the crew and the cast and all that stuff. So there's plenty of stuff still to watch, certainly. Thanks, Steph. All right, switching gears for us now. The pandemic is impacting every facet of our lives, as we've just talked about. Many times it's the obvious that you're going to notice, but sometimes the changes are more subtle or unknown completely to our everyday. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and the pandemic is making it more difficult to solve cases. Monica Robbins is working on a special collaboration to highlight this issue.
Human trafficking. You've seen the signs on billboards and buses, a reminder that it happens here too. And with a pandemic comes added complications, loss of jobs, children scrolling the internet unmonitored, all leading to a worrisome reality, a high risk of individuals being exploited. WKYC Studios and the Collaborative to End Human Trafficking are presenting a virtual panel discussion to bring awareness to the issue.
Anti-trafficking work must be done relational, coordinated, and collaborative. The road out of exploitation for trafficked individuals is long and difficult.
Join me as I moderate the conversation, Thursday at 6:30 p.m. You can stream the event on WKYC.com or watch it on WKYC Studios YouTube channel or Facebook page. Monica Robbins, 3 News.
It's such an important topic, and if you have children, it's definitely something to pay attention to. If you'd like to learn more about the panelists that are going to be featured in this event and the warning signs of human trafficking, there are articles posted on our website, WKYC.com/3cares.
Ahead on What's New, we're going to show you how devices from this year's Consumer Electronics Show can take your home to an entirely new and safe level. I love that electronics show. Then, how the pandemic is playing a positive role to one certain problem New Orleans usually faces. And time to talk to Matt again. Matt, what's going on outside?
Well, hi there, Jay. We'll take a live look at the CSU cam now. We've seen some snowflakes flying by here as the colder air continues to come across the lake. We do have some lake effect snow chances tonight and tomorrow, but then all eyes turn to this baby. 7 feet of snow in the mountains, 10 inches of rain. That translates east. We'll let you know how coming up.
All right, little point of clarification. I know Matt Wentz was saying 7 feet of snow and 10 inches of rain. That does not mean it's coming here. We are not getting 7 feet of snow and 10 inches of rain.
Yeah.
Let's just put that
Betsy,
out there.
I didn't just go to meteorology school at Ohio State. I also went to tease school. That's one of those teases to really keep people through the commercial break. Hey, honey, did you hear what Matt Wentz said? That's great. Yeah, we're not getting that, but we're going to get that same solar system for sure. And it's going to be pretty interesting to watch as we go throughout the weekend as we watch this low move in. But near term first, let's talk about what's going to happen tonight. We've got colder air working in. 20s now sinking down towards the south. We've got a nice north wind. All of this coming in from a pretty cold source of air off towards the north. We've got temperatures in the single digits in Canada. We'll dip down likely to near 20 tonight. I think teens inland. And then tomorrow's going to be really our cold spot over the next couple of days. These are your wind chills tomorrow, waking up in the teens, single digits at times, and we don't get a lot of recovery throughout the day tomorrow as that cold air continues to settle in. Well, why is it settling in? Well, we've got a system down to our south that's going to pull some of that air from Canada. It's also going to stir up the lake a little bit, so we are expecting lake effect snow showers and flurries to really start to develop over the next couple hours. Harbinger of things to come. We often look to Lake Huron. You can see we've got a little development there, so we'll likely get a coating, maybe a couple inches over the next 24 hours out in the snow belt. This is the storm that will miss us down towards the south, but that storm is dragging that air in. Here's where your 7 feet of snow and 10 inches of rain are. Southern California, they're getting blasted with this storm right now. Much needed, maybe not all at once, but boy, this is a drought buster for sure. And you can see as that storm continues to spin over the next couple days, we'll deal with some lake effect snow showers with your National Design Mark big picture look here at the forecast. But watch this storm. We're pretty quiet over the next couple days. High pressure will settle in, but here it comes out in the southern plains. This is Saturday. We'll likely be looking at increasing clouds from this during the day. But depending on the track of this low, all the models agree there's a lot of moisture. All the models agree there's a lot of cold air in place. So depending on that track, we're either going to stay all snow through this. Snow could miss us just down to the south if that track goes a little bit further south. If it comes north, we could get a little mix with this as well. Bottom line, we've got a real good chance at either some decent snow out of this or a snow-rain mix as we go into the weekend, and it takes all the way till Tuesday to get out of here. An early look at the models, we're not putting any numbers on this, but this is the latest Euro run. Pretty heavy snow out of this where that bullseye is. The GFS a little bit more aggressive and bullish with this. And you can see it not only brings us snow, but areas of the eastern seaboard where they've been pretty snow-starved so far this year. So putting it all together, Union Home Mortgage forecast cold the next 2 days, some lake effect snow showers, flurries. Saturday looks good, but it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We're going to watch for the little groundhog there before we finally dry out next week. But Jay, definitely an active pattern as we lead up to Betsy's favorite holiday coming up on Tuesday.
All right, I know that's a big one around here, Groundhog Day. Matt, thank you very much. This year's Consumer Electronics Show wrapped up last week, and even though it was all virtual, the annual event still featured hundreds of gadgets and gizmos made to make your life easier. Not only that, but make your life safer as well. NBC's Chris Pallone has details on how one company is winning awards for a new sensor, which could make a smart home even smarter.
If you've ever woken up in a hotel room sweating because the air conditioner shut off unexpectedly, this product might one day change your life. It's the XK400 sensor from Xander Cardian, a Consumer Electronics Show winner for smart home innovation.
So we're providing a whole new generation of home automation devices that reacts according to your body's information.
Businesses often use infrared sensors to shut off the air or lights if you've left the room. They work well enough but aren't very accurate. If you don't make big movements while you're working or sleeping, they can't tell that you're there. The Xander Cardian sensor uses radar and is 99.9% accurate.
Radar technology is safe to use, is discreet, and it basically is unique by sensing micro vibration patterns coming from the body.
Vibrations like your heart rate and breathing patterns. That means in tomorrow's smart home, your devices will be able to tell if you've fallen asleep and adjust automatically.
Let's say, for example, you enter the house, you're tired, and so you may fall asleep. Our sensor will be able to monitor their body motion going very flat, so you're not moving.
If the sensor determines your heart rate has dropped to a certain point,
you can dim down the lights or turn off the lights, turn off the TV, and adjust the temperature accordingly.
And it goes well beyond turning appliances on or off. The radar sensor could detect intruders. It could even call a family member if you fall or have a sudden dangerous change in heart rate. With such precise sensors becoming mainstream,
Alexa,
soon talking to a smart device might seem old-fashioned. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
Wow, Betsy, it really makes you wonder, like, where all this is going from a technology standpoint. I mean, when you could talk to a device and turn anything in your house on, that was mind-blowing.
Right.
Now you don't even have to do that. It can sense by your movements what you need. It's like beyond the Jetsons now.
Right? And this is where it gets fun for us on TV, because we can be real brats and say, Alexa, play Blue Suede Shoes by Elvis. You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, everybody at home now is saying, Betsy, no. Alexa, stop.
I got to turn mine off. Hold on. Okay,
I heard it in the background. You're bad. All right, coming up at the top of the half hour at 6 o'clock, at 5:30, we told you about today's tumbling stocks, but it's a different story for GameStop's stock. This is an unbelievable story. A lot of people are making tons of money, but some are losing it as well. Then, you won't believe what Kraft came up with for Valentine's Day. I'm not sure if this is good or bad. I'll let you decide when we tell you about pink macaroni and cheese. It's after the break. Right now, we'll do our pop quiz. Here's the question, and this is a good one. I was surprised to see the answer. How much does it cost to make a $1 bill? 3 cents, 5 cents, 7 cents. Think about it. The answer's 2.5 minutes away.
Please. Hello. Yes.
This is depressing, it really is. Before the break, we asked how much it costs to make a dollar bill. The answer is 7.7 cents. So before we ever get the dollar in our hand, it's already cost 7 cents. Even more depressing, since 2006, it costs more to make 1 penny than the penny is worth. Please figure out a better way.
Man, there is a better way. It's called plastic. Charge it. That's the easiest thing to do. Well, it's now time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring back our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Betsy. We're starting off with an interesting one today. The pandemic is having a unique effect on the rat population in New Orleans' French Quarter. This is Bourbon Street, and it doesn't look like this right now. With the people gone and restaurants closed, there aren't any food scraps for the rats to eat. So pest control saw the opportunity to come in, bait the hungry rats, and get rid of them. And that's how New Orleans is using the pandemic to its advantage right now. Now, if you've seen the stock prices for GameStop surging and you're wondering why, you can thank Reddit. A bunch of small investors on Reddit started talking about buying and holding on to the stock as a way to stick it to Wall Street investors who have been banking on the price tanking. Now, until a few weeks ago, GameStop shares were trading at less than $18. At one point today, the price was over $380. And today, one major hedge fund raised the white flag and gave up. It had to buy the GameStop shares at this very high price, losing money in order to make good on deals it had hoped would instead make it a lot of money. And that, in a nutshell, is how short selling on the stock market can be very risky. Now people are wondering if AMC is next, Betsy. On Twitter today, hashtag #SaveAMC was trending, and its stock prices are also up, although not as dramatically right now.
Oh, yeah, a lot of the staples of Americana that people are definitely missing. All right, Stephanie, thank you so much for that. See you again tomorrow. Jay?
Yeah, they're doing the same thing with BlackBerry stock, if you can imagine. All right, this next story had a lot of our coworkers talking today. Kraft launched a limited edition Candy Kraft mac and cheese. It's for Valentine's Day. The company says the new dish is made with same cheese, Kraft mac and cheese that they've always used. It includes a candy-flavored packet, though, that turns the product pink and adds a hint of sweet candy flavor. Only a lucky 1,000 people can get a box through an online contest. Betsy, I'm not sure I want candy in my macaroni and cheese. Where do you stand on this?
I'm going to tell you what, I have two tiny humans who would do absolutely anything to get their hands on a box of pink candy mac and cheese.
I know
that would
little
go
ones
over
would
very
love it.
well here.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah.
Would you eat it?
Absolutely. Yeah, oh yeah, I'd try it.
All right.
And then, let the girls have it and then go on a very long walk. Would you eat pink candy macaroni and cheese? I'm getting big nods. Come here, Joe's. Not
Yeah,
to
she
wait
would.
to everybody say hi. There you go. Yes, okay. Thank you,
course
sweetie.
she would.
All right. Now that we're completely over on time, sorry, everybody. This little kitty coming up next is very likely to live in the CLE. How many of you helped save her life? And then on What Matters Most at 6, from homeless to helping others, meet a man who found his purpose in Cleveland to provide for those in need.
So it costs more to make a bed. Hey, Al, how are you? Some encouraging news tonight for the 7th straight day. So it
What? Hey, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Just for the picture. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. And you with your rude comments, Crane. And my mic's hot, by the way. Yeah.
Yes.
And they can't get it right.
That
1, 2, 3, 4. Check 1, 2. We're here talking about COVID vaccine and why we can't get it.
Yep, gotcha. Mic check. At 6 o'clock, we're talking about restaurants and bars again.
We wrap up our Wednesday What's New, say that 5 times real fast, with our Show Us Something Good. Pulls right at animal lovers' heartstrings, too. This kitten's named Penelope. Needed a surgery for a diaphragmatic hernia. It cost $4,000, Betsy. The Cleveland APL posted this on their Facebook page back in November. They needed donations so Penelope could get this surgery through their Second Chance program. They helped raise $2,000 for her. We are told that Penelope, and she is a beauty, had the surgery last week, and she's doing great. She's recovering in her foster home now and will be ready for adoption very soon. Way to go, Cleveland. Way to make that happen.
Yeah.
Look how pretty.
And I'm pretty sure the APL is probably getting emails as we speak right now. Ooh, we are interested in Penelope. She's going to have a forever home. That is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I hope that's
sure.
the case. And there are a lot of other animals that need forever homes, not just Penelope. So if you can fit it in, please do. Animals need you right now.
And if you can't fit them in, help support them, because there's a lot of families that are relying on those little loved ones to come into their lives, make everybody a little bit brighter. Well, thank you so much for watching What's New today. We hope you are a little bit brighter, thanks to us being silly sometimes. What matters most with